Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Redmen TV. I am your host Errol Smith and this is your player ranking show. How are we? How are we all feeling in the chat this evening? Liverpool have just won 3-1 against Sheffield United and we are back to the top of the league. Sitting pretty, looking down at the rest of the league. And to be fair, given the fact that Sheffield United are bottom of the league, they was plucky, they came, they stuck in. They seemed to have a bit of a game plan early doors, wanted to come out of the blocks and get a bit of a fast start, see if they could catch Liverpool cold, and they almost did in the opening phases of play. But ultimately, quality over the 90 minutes, some world-class quality over the 90 minutes, came up trumps really. And again, Liverpool just had too much once again for another opposition. So today I am going to take you through your player rankings. You know the drill by now. You've sat around, you've watched enough of this content over the months gone by. Boss, sound, and are you messing? That's what we're here to do. Let's find out. Let's start off with the man in sticks, who's now played as many appearances so far this season, I am led to believe, as Alisson. So they have rarely shared the role. It probably wasn't by design. It's probably been forced more out of circumstance. But by God, this lad, when we've needed him this season, has really stood up and been counted as an absolute key components in this Liverpool team. It's a massive benefit to the way that we play, that we've got a goalkeeper, even though he is not necessarily Alisson in terms of the 1v1 saves and some of the big saves in matches, in the ability and the way that he plays out from the back. He has to be a bit of a sweeper keeper at times as well. He stops one of their breakaway counter-attacks, but before we even get to that point, he does come up with a big, massive save with his feet within about 45, 50 seconds of the game being played. He was alive to the danger. The rest of the team were probably sleeping a little bit still, hadn't really woken up or was alive to the threat that was Sheffield United in those early phases, but Kelleher certainly was. Again, I do think he's very unlucky with the cruel deflection from Conor Bradley that goes through his legs, makes that goal look worse than it probably was from a goalkeeping perspective. But tonight, I thought Kelleher was really good. I was really impressed with some of his distribution. He was really keen whenever there was a few times when Sheffield United did end up with the ball in our box or got a corner or a set piece. When he was able to get the ball, he wanted to be fast with his distribution. He wanted to get us back on the front foot. So I do feel as though Kelleher was a very important cog in our way of playing this afternoon, or this evening, I should say, at Anfield. Let's see what people are saying. Timothy Parish comes in first, nice and early, and says, in between sound and boss, we've got Scott leaning, saying key save from the beginning of the match. Absolutely. Drew Brown says Kelleher was boss. Few bosses in there as well. Up the Reds. 11 says Kelleher lower boss, but was class with his distribution. Yeah, a couple of people saying lower boss, higher sound, boss sound, boss sound. Probably more inclined to just go there. Definitely more boss than he was sound for me tonight. As I say, if he'd have kept that clean sheet, he'd have been safely nailed on as boss. But again, obviously, the cruel deflection there, I think we'd be a little bit too harsh if we marked him down too much for that. And again, same can be said there for Conor Bradley. He gets doubled up on that back post for the goal. But I thought, again, going forward with the ball, it's what we've become kind of used to from his game at the moment. He is very front-footed and he is focused on trying to get us up the pitch, be an extra outlet, give us that additional width, because in the first half of the game as well, you'll have probably noticed if you was watching on the TV like us, Joe Gomez was inverting inside a lot, which meant we was very narrow. Bradley offered that additional bit of width on that touchline there. He was getting out giving us that little bit of width, opening the pitch up a little bit more for us. For two of his balls infield and balls to feet, really good. Don't really think he was challenged in terms of 1v1 battles in the same way that he was against Brighton. A little bit more of a comfortable evening for him, but again, it will be lessons to be learned there. It isn't very often where players like him, even Trent, get bullied and left 2v1 at the back post. So it will be a bit of a learning curve and some bits of homework to take away there. And what else could he have done differently in that situation? Maybe will be something that they'll look into. But I thought he was sound for the most part tonight. Don't really think it was probably one of his best performances in terms of his all-round play. Wasn't really a big standout Bradley performance that we've seen in recent months. But again, Yeah, basically Vader says, sound, did really well, just unlucky. Josh Gavin says, sound. Richie says, was good as usual. Up the Reds 11 says he was mid-sound, very unlucky with the deflection. Yeah, I think he can be forgiven for that. You know what I mean? I know it goes down as an own goal, but I think he can be forgiven for that. I'm quite happy to just put him in the sound category and consider, you know, this lad has only started really coming into the team in and around the Christmas mark. To be consistently in the sound and the boss category, it just shows the confidence, it shows the quality, and it shows the potential that this young lad does have as a right back for us. Brilliant. Ibu Kanati, ladies and gentlemen, is just come back from a bit of an injury. I know he was able to play for the France national team. Didn't make it. It didn't feature at all in the Brighton game. Not his best game for me tonight. There wasn't a lot of firefighting to do, which is something that he does very well. But in a couple of moments where he was expected to win his challenges or expected to win his aerial battles, there was a few moments where it looked a little bit rash, it looked a little bit late, probably a little bit of a frustrating performance for Kanate tonight. There was a few occasions as well where Virgil van Dijk even covers the cover, coming across over to the right-hand side, just to kind of alleviate a little bit of pressure and help his teammates out, which I'm fine with, to be honest with you. I don't really think that's too much of an issue when you've got someone like Virgil who's more than capable of being able to do that. But I do think it was not his best performance tonight from Ibu Kanate. Again, it would be really harsh to be like, are you messing, and just leave him there, because I don't think there was many of you messing performances, if any, tonight, if I'm being completely honest with you. But for me personally, if I'm going to have to move him from a you messing to just sound, it's going to take a little bit of persuasion from the chat. I will be honest. Yeah, Timothy Paris does come back and say, it says a lot, which many fans got worried when Kanate was down. Exactly. You can look at one game in isolation, but in terms of the level that he does usually put in, it is critical that we've got him available and fit for us in these next 8 games in the Premier League. Certainly is. I've got Scott again saying, low, sound, had a couple of good spots, but nothing to write home about. Alflex says Ibu was boss, I think. Who else? Michael Fox, lower sound, kind of awkward at times, good at reading passes, but seemed uncomfortable anytime the ball bounced highish in front of him. Yeah, I think that, and again, that's a bit unusual. I'm not really used to seeing Ibu struggle with aerial battles or contesting for balls and second balls and stuff like that. He is usually very dominant in all of those aspects of his game. Obviously, we know that he's got the recovery pace, but he was never really in behind and putting us under any real pressure in those areas of the pitch. So some of his more conventional bread and butter situations and scenarios probably were the ones where he didn't really deal with them. But I do think it is probably just on the cusp, and I'm quite happy to leave him there. If everybody else is happy to leave him there, low sound, your messing was too harsh. I agree, the your messing was too harsh. I could never comfortably leave him in a your messing zone. So yeah, Tony Kenobi says Ibu was sound. You know what? The chat's spoken, ladies and gentlemen, and who am I to question the Redmen chat? Virgil van Dijk, again, ladies and gents, for me, been boss all season. Really, really has. Another captain's performance for us there. Would have probably been disappointed that his back line wasn't able to keep a clean sheet tonight. But again, I think when it mattered most, I think his leadership in certain situations, especially when we're in the face of adversity, really does. It works wonders for us, because he just passes so much belief to the players in front of him that anything is possible. We can turn any result around. And I do think, again, it was another boss performance from Virgil van Dijk. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Got people saying high sound. Richie says definitely boss. Virgil's been consistent, says Callum. Michael Fox says Virg was boss. Might have set the Cruyff term record, not a foot wrong, and was unlucky not to score. Yeah. Andy also says that he was boss. Yeah. Do you know what? Again, I think it is fair. I definitely think it was fair. Joe Gomez, ladies and gents, again, he probably thought tonight, if there's any chance that I could score against any team, it's going to be this Sheffield United team, especially when the keeper was as shit as the keeper was. But it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't written that way for Joe Gomez this evening. But I did think he played all right. He ends up playing before he comes off as the 6, if I'm not mistaken. I thought it was a sound performance from Joe. Again, inverting from that left-back position, which I think does offer a little bit more to his skill set. He is very comfortable on the ball. I do remember one big raking switch of play over to Conor Bradley in the first half that I thought was absolutely phenomenal as well. I thought it was a really good display from Joe Gomez tonight. Again, not a natural left-back, doesn't give us that natural width on the attacking third on that left-hand side, but I think he does offer a little bit of a balance, especially when we do have Conor Bradley in the team, because Conor Bradley is reverting that full-back role back to, 18, 19, 19, 20, 21, Trent Alexander-Arnold. We have found with our full-backs this season, over the last 12 months probably now, there is the call to bring one of them to just drift in a little bit more centrally, help out, get another body in midfield and be a bit more of an inverted full-back. And I think Joe Gomez does that well. He is a really strong utility player. His confidence is back. You can see that as well. He's taking on pot shots left, right and centre. Wasn't meant to be. We don't expect it, but we are all on tender hooks waiting for Joe Gomez to come up with his first goal for Liverpool Football Club. And like Dan Club said before, ladies and gents, we want it to mean something. If he would have scored the Macca's goal, mate, it would have been scenes in here this evening. But again, for me, I thought it was probably a high sound for doing this whole high-low sound, low boss situation. I think it probably would have been. Yeah, Tony Kenobi says, Sheffield let Joe Gomez have the ball. Talking about Chelsea game here, I don't know if that's true, what's going on there. And to be honest, I'm not really that harsh right now. Drew Brown says Joe was a high sound. Andy says Joe should have scored tonight between boss and sound for me. Gomez sound from Demolition Rob there as well. Has that come up on my chats? Don't think it has, but it's okay. We'll carry on. There it is there, to be fair. Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, you know what? There's a comment there about Joe Gomez, and I think Andy does make a good point. And I won't linger on it for too long, because at the end of the day, we won 3-1. But yeah, their goal, Joe Gomez gets sold a dream far too easily on that one for me. Gets sent for the echo. So yeah, I do take that on board, and that's why I'm probably saying all round, it wasn't boss, but it was sound. So I can live with that. Right. Who else would be? This guy in the dark. My general. I salute you, Maka. Kawi. That finish. We will be talking about that finish for years. Like someone said in the last show, we won't even remember this game, but we will never forget that strike. The way he hit that ball, it was unbelievable. First time, absolutely puts his laces to do it. If you're on socials, if you're on Twitter, there is a picture at the moment of Gerrard hitting a screamer, and his body after he's hit it, and Maka's body is they're identical almost to a T. And when this lad signed for 35 million, I think most Liverpool fans and football fans alike probably thought, smart business by Liverpool that, got a really solid midfielder, World Cup winner, good on the ball, works really hard. He's good in the system that Brighton played. There's a bit of a double pivot. Very tactically astute in terms of how clever he is as a footballer. But I don't think anybody for a minute thought he was going to be the difference maker. And let's be honest, he's elevated Liverpool's midfield this season. It's taken us to a new level, and a level we've not really ever seen under Jurgen Klopp, because we've been so used to having a very functional midfield, one that is there to serve a purpose. To the creativity comes down by the fullbacks. The midfield is the engine room, it's the hub, it keeps everything ticking over. They press teams to death, they suffocate teams, they outwork teams, but they're not really known for that guile, for that class on the ball. They don't ooze that quality. We have had players like Thiago in the mist in there, players like Naby Keita when he's fit on his day, able to find the pass, play through the lines. But McAllister, he's just got it all. He is the all-round midfield maestro in this Liverpool team. He is absolutely majestic when he's firing on all cylinders, and that goal was nothing short of sublime. It was absolutely, as Dan said, postage stamp stuff, and it flew top bins. It was a quality finish, and I can't put him anywhere other than top of the boss. He really was. He was top dollar today. 35 million, you know, in today's market, when the midfield market last year was madly overflated, players going for 100 mils left, right and centre, and we stole him from Brighton. Absolutely stole him from Brighton for 35 million. Sky's the limit for this guy. Unbelievable player, and long may it continue in a Liverpool shirt. And you know what? In an Argentina shirt as well. Good luck. Ball out. Ball out. Ryan Gravenberch, ladies and gents. Player that's probably struggled for game time, is probably fair to say. Probably still trying to figure out what is his best role within this Liverpool team. I thought he faded as the game went on, but I thought he was one of the few players who did start the game fairly well. He was quite bright in the early exchanges of the game. I think his holding of the ball and the way that he was driving, just trying to drive through the lines as opposed to playing through the lines, I thought was quite important, and I think that is one of his strong qualities. Let's see what the people say in the chat. Ian says, Grav is not bad, it was sound. Basically Vader comes back and says low sound, he needs to improve massively. Scareface says mid sound, very good performance for him by his standards. Yeah. Josh Gavin says Ryan was sound. Richie says he seems lost at times, lower sounds, but no more than that in my opinion. Ooh, Emma man, critical, says Grav was messing, he was poor and was totally off the pace. I mean, I think that's a little bit harsh if I'm being completely honest with you, but you know what? Thank you very much for leaving your comments and your thoughts. That's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't have to be an echo chamber. We can all have our own different opinions, and I'm fine with that. That's why I'm bringing them all up, as many as I possibly can. Nigel, thank you very much. Do appreciate that. People saying you're messing, lower sound, soundish, Dagsy. Yeah, do you know what? For me, I thought it was sound. I thought it was a fairly decent performance. Considering he hasn't had a massive amount of game time, he's been on the fringes of things a little bit. It is sometimes really hard to find your groove when you're coming in the games cold. A lot of the rest of the team all mentioned, all of these lads, I know Canate's had a little bit of an injury, but all these have got rhythm. They all know the jobs, they all understand the roles, they all know what they're doing on the pitch at the moment. Gravenberch is a little bit of an anomaly in that sense. He's still trying to find his way into this team, trying to find a way to make a mark. Me and Dan had a conversation about it before, you know, Curtis Jones on the way back, I thought he was quite impressive coming off the bench as well, but on his way back now, every game that goes by, Gravenberch is looking, thinking, bloody hell, I've kind of got to take my chances. If you was to ask me tonight now, don't rank him, but just tell me if he took his chance tonight and really nailed down, he's got to be a dead cert for Sunday. I wouldn't say he has. I think he is more of a squad option off the bench, someone else who brings in a bit of energy and a bit of legs as the game goes on. He's not a starter for me at the minute, but I do think tonight, based on this one performance, I think he was just sound, and I'll happily put him there. Dominic Szoboszlai, I think it was probably one of his better all-round games in recent weeks for me, if I'm being completely honest with you. I thought the way that he was driving with the ball, some of his passes, he was popping up in loads of little different spaces. He pops up on the wing sometimes, he'll pop up on the left, he pops up on the right. I think he is one of those tireless football players. He's got an engine on him, let's be honest with you. And again, I think he's another one who's now starting to finally get that rhythm back. A couple of games, I think I was a little bit harsh on my player rankings against the Brighton game with him the other day, because it's his pass to McAllister, who then sets up Salah for the winner. But it was the speed of thought between the three of them that absolutely made that goal on the weekend. I do think Dom's on his way back up. I think he plateaued a little bit and just went down a little bit in terms of the performances he was putting out in terms of output. But I think it's slowly starting to curve back up in the right way in terms of the trajectory that his performances have been going of late. Let's see what you guys think in the chat. Couple. What else are we saying? Upper sound from Steve Taylor. Who else? Yeah, another one saying that he's still trying to get to his best, so it was sound. Woody says, yeah, mid to high sound. Bagging average, sound. He does create some good chances. Yeah, do you know what? I am quite happy to put him there, to be honest with you. I thought he was sound this evening, and I don't really think he did too much wrong. I thought he worked hard for the team as well, and it was a bit of a tireless performance in that respect. So I was quite happy, and I think that is quite a fair ranking for Dominic Szoboszlai. Moving on to the front three then. Do we start with... we'll start with Diaz. Again, last couple of weeks or last couple of games for me, really, I thought Diaz's all-round play has been a lot better. Not necessarily the output tonight, but I think, again, his hard work, his endeavour was there. Some of his trickery and some of his skills. I mean, to be fair, you could never really criticise them because he's got exceptional footwork and he has got the ability to just go past people. I think the big observation and the thing that I level against him is that output. It's that final ball. It's the decision-making in those key areas in the final third. Can you be a difference maker in either providing an assist or scoring a goal? Tonight, that wasn't really on the cards for him, but I did think he worked really hard on that left-hand side. He was the one required to give us a little bit of width at times, but he did come in quite centrally a lot as well. He mixed things up for us. He gets stuck in. He does work hard. I thought he was sound. I think he does create a lot of chances. He causes a lot of problems for back lines. Again, it's hard to say anything other than sound. High sound there from Taylor. Thank you very much for that one. Diaz, high sound from Tricky. His skills are just crazy. He took two players out. Yeah, that was boss and sound in itself. Shinoni Mikel says, upper sound. Yeah, and Domlier says, you need him with low block teams, someone who can dribble a little bit. Yeah, for me, probably a high sound for Diaz, I'll be honest with you. Darwin Nunez, the madman. Absolute madman. I love him. This guy is unbelievable. The passion. People say, oh, he can be a passion. No, the passion is one thing, but when you've got the ability and when you've got the skill and the work rate and work ethic that this guy's got, you will get your just desserts, you will get your rewards. He gambled early into the game on a ball that, for all intents and purposes, looked like a lost cause. Nobody else is really on the same wavelength as him. The opportunity goes awry and we don't capitalise on it. But it's only a couple of minutes later, he's still in that vein. He's still got that energy and that vibe for it. He charges like the horse he drew. Absolute stallion towards their goalkeeper, who shit the bed, bear in mind. Absolutely wets his kecks. And Darwin Nunez is there, puts in a massive block. And with him doing that, actually gets enough purchase on the ball to run it over the line. And the thing is with that, he could have just got the block and stopped and been like, I've done my job, I've closed the keeper down, I've blocked it. But he makes the keeper shit himself even more by chasing the keeper. The ball's already going to go over the line. The keeper doesn't really have a chance of catching it back up. But if there was any chance that the keeper thought he could, knowing he had Darwin there, probably makes him think, even if I do catch the ball, what do I do with it? Because I've got this madman on my heels. And again, that was it sums up the type of player that Darwin Nunez is. It sums up why we love him. He celebrates like it's the best goal he's ever scored as well, by the way, which was absolute kind of shithousery that we love to see from a striker. It was nothing short of brilliant. His all-round play today. Few pot shots and he snatches at things, but again, he's a striker. That's where they get their bread and butter. That's where they get their confidence from. He shoots from all sorts of mad angles. But again, just for that goal alone, setting us up on our way, Nunez was boss. And, I'll let you guys tell me if I'm lying, but everybody says, yeah, Timothy Parish, Nunez, Bosie. Soap McLavish says, Darwin was boss. Everybody, Darwin saying, upper sound, boss. We love to see it. We absolutely love to see it. Mo Salah cut a bit of a frustrated figure as he was brought off and substituted. Do you know what? I'll say this now. He's been substituted a couple of times in recent weeks. I don't know whether it's because, he has not long come back from a bit of an injury himself. He's been out for quite a few games. Jurgen Klopp's probably being cautious. He wants his talisman to be there in all the big moments that come between now and the end of the season. So he is trying to protect the player in Mo Salah there, and I can fully understand the logic behind that. But then there is a part of me that's probably thinking, with Klopp going, he's probably now not putting Mo on the pedestal anymore, and he's treating him like everybody else. You can be subs. You can be taken off. If you're not having the game of your life, if you're not playing up to the level that I know you're capable of, I don't need to keep you in there. I'll take you out the firing line. And there are other match winners within this team that can go on and win me a game. I am not solely reliant on you anymore. And that relationship could become a bit tense if Jurgen Klopp was staying and Salah felt he was being a little bit disrespected. However, with Klopp going now, Klopp doesn't necessarily feel a type of way where he has to remain uber loyal to the fact that Salah's minutes. It's better for the team and for the cause right now if we can bottle up the best of Mo Salah for as and when we need him. It was a sound performance from Salah tonight. It wasn't boss. I'll be so real. It wasn't. Maximus says he lost the ball a lot there. Mid to low sound, not at his best. Mid sound, yeah, it was. Salah, you're messing. Andy saying you're messing. You look miles off it. I think that's harsh. I don't think Salah ever looks miles off it, to be fair. But again, I think when you're judging Salah, you're probably judging him by his own standards, and it is a little bit more tricky in that respect. But yeah, I think it was just a sound performance from Salah, which again I'm fine with. I'm not going to curse him. I'm not going to dig him out for that, to be honest with you, ladies and gents. And again, it is massive that the result went our way because he didn't have a lot of chances. I think in the Brighton game, he ended up having a crazy amount of shots and he only comes away with the one goal. Today, he probably struggled a little bit against, a bit of a back five, a low block team that was really set up to soak up as much pressure as possible, not always giving him the space to operate in. We didn't create a wealth of opportunities for him either. So for me, yeah, Salah is one that I will say was quite sound. Robbo comes on, helps provide the assist for the crucial third goal, the one that just puts all of our minds at ease a little bit as we went into that extra injury time with about 7 minutes to be played. So yeah, Robbo comes in, plays a crucial pass. Quite happy that he puts in a high sound performance for me, Robbo. I'm going to have no questions about that. Birthday boy, happy birthday, our kid. 21 today, wow. It's mad. The lad's already made over 100 performances and appearances for Liverpool Football Club. Comes on again, it gives us that burst of energy, gives us that little bit of an injection of, not necessarily an injection of pace, but that intent. He works hard, tries to get involved as often and as frequent as possible, always wants to try and create for others as well, and he does work tirelessly for the team. Had a cool head in the mix there as well. I'd say he's probably just the mid-sound for me, Harvey. Let me know in the comments, let me know in the chat if you feel any differently. Am I miles off the mark there with that one? But I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was absolutely fine. Curtis Jones, really glad to see him back and the qualities that he brings. You forget how good he is on the ball. You forget tight spaces, tight areas, intricate play. And he's moving the ball a lot quicker as well, which is one of the things that we said from last season going into this season was one of the big learnings that he had to take away and really implementing his game, and he's got that now. He's got the rhythm. He gets what it is to be that left side of the 8 for Liverpool Football Club, and I think he knows in the confidence that he's got and he's performing with. I think he has been absolutely an incredible player for us this season. Again, substitute performance today, comes off the bench, not able to really influence, doesn't have enough time to really influence things. But again, I think he was quite a calm and assured presence on the pitch for me. So again, he's another one that goes in straight as a sound player. And finally, Gakpo, man like Cody, come under a little bit of slack again, probably understandably from some sections of the fan base, just for his overall quality. Is it enough? Can he do enough to really force his way into the starting 11? He's a bit of an underrated player in terms of some of his qualities. Again, not another one like Gravenberch, struggled through a bit game time and getting that rhythm. But he come on, he makes a really good run for that goal. He points at it, he wants it early, he stays on side, he holds his run, and it's a really smart finish with the head there as well. So Cody Gakpo, it's nice to see him. Again, I think that's 14 goals now in all comps for him this season. It's nice to see him in and amongst the goals, getting involved, and linking up a lot better. I think when he came on, I think Dan noticed a lot of his link-up play, his holding of the ball was really good and quite important at times, really, to kind of help us relieve a little bit of pressure. Sheffield didn't really cause us too many problems, didn't really make us scratch our head thinking, how have they done this, how have they done that? But when you've got this type of quality, when you've got substitutes like Curtis Jones, Andy Robbo, Harvey Elliott, Cody Gakpo to bring off on the bench, it's got to look daunting to a team there that already know when they're beat. Really happy for him. Glad that he got his goal. And I will throw him sound as well. So, one last thing for me to do this evening, ladies and gents. Don't forget, Redmen Plus Instant Match Reaction has been filmed, as well as the player rating show. Go over there, make sure you check out. There is a 50% code off as well if you type in the word race over on Redmen TV. Make sure you do that as well if you want plenty of content between now and the end of the season, talking all things Liverpool, title hopes, title dreams, Europa League competition. We've still got plenty to play for, so make sure you do sign up now if you haven't already, because there's going to be bags and bags of content there for you guys with 50% off as well if you use the discount code RACE. So make sure you do that as well. I'm sure they'll probably leave a link in the bio for that in there as well for you. Last thing for me though, guys, is the man of the match. I mean, is there any point even going to the chat? I feel like the chat are just going to tell me, but let's back it anyway. Let's see. Yeah, Nigel, thank you very much. Many thanks, bro. I do appreciate it. Big up all the Redmen TV backroom staff. Yeah, big up Frank on the buttons with me on this show this evening as well. And big up Joe as well. You never walk alone, onwards and upwards. Man of the match, Michael Perkins says, man of the match for me has to be Maka. Not even a debate. And it really is. Yeah, Scareface says it is Maka for the 4th game running. Tom Leah also says the Argentinian baller. This is probably the easiest one I've done, to be honest, all season. Maka, man of the match, an easy one. Yeah, there's not even any shouts for anybody else tonight. It literally is Maka, Maka, Maka. Well, do you know what? Like, when the chat have spoken, the chat's spoken. Where is he? Top of the boss. Maka is your man of the match on your player ranking show, ladies and gentlemen. I've been your host, Errol Smith. This has been Redmen TV. Liverpool, top of the league. Liverpool, top of the league. I'll see you all again soon. Ta-da.
Thank you so very, very much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. The season is now well underway. If you need extra Redmen content, be it podcast, videos, documentaries, interviews, and general shows, fill your boots on redmenplus.com today.